service with Solon and my involvement. I have extensive volunteerism in the city of Solon, helped qualify me for this position on top of the fact that I have a very strong business background. And I believe I can transfer a lot of the skills that I use in my day job to help us in the city of Solon continue to improve.
Great. Mr. McGill.
Hi, I'm Doug McGill. I'm running for Ward 1 in City Council, and I've never run for office before. But what I found is that I'm really excited about the opportunity of learning a lot more about the city of Solon and helping the city of Solon. This is a great opportunity to do something for Solon. It's been great to my family and myself, and I'm looking forward to this.
Okay. Let's start off by talking about probably the biggest issue facing the city today, which is traffic. Generally, the biggest discussions have centered around that problems on Aurora Road. Do you support widening the roadway to 5 lanes as the city engineers have discussed, or do you support the mayor's plan to have a new interchange built off State Route 422 to funnel traffic around the city? Mr. McGill?
Well, a couple of things we need to clarify. I don't know if that's the biggest issue facing the city, but it's a big one today. I think the city engineers have already talked about widening, and that's going to cut some frontage off of some property both on Aurora Road and Som Center Road. So this is going to be a big project, but we've got to do something relative to downtown traffic. Otherwise, we've got a real problem. It's a nice problem to have because that means people are coming in and out of Solon to work. But the other thing relative to the interchange potentially near Liberty Road, that's a really long-term project, and there's a lot of funding involved in that. So I'm not sure we're going to see a resolution to that issue anytime soon.
Okay. Mrs. Jacob.
I believe that the 5-road approach that was talked about in the $19 million it would take to do that, as Doug said, will cause a lot of disruption for residents. But the bigger issue was not only is it a disruption for the benefits, but the residents, but who's going to get the big benefit? Putting in that approach was really going to be more of a benefit for the Bainbridge and Aurora residents, and we would get the pain and they would get more of the gain. So I don't believe that's the first approach we should do for that reason at all. And we're also going to be crimping in a little bit to the road easements just for the expansion that's planned for the double lanes next year as it is. So we are going to be encroaching into the Sohio areas and et cetera, just trying to make it so that it's 4 lanes each way and we can try to speed it up on a short-term basis. And that work is already planned for next year as it is. But the long-term plan, feasibility-wise, that would be a nice expansion with the JED to do something like that, but it is something that's much more long-term for us, and it's not something that residents today with their problems getting through a town will see any relief from anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Do either of you have any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, my sense is that Bainbridge itself isn't all excited about this as much as we are, and so I think that the big problem is negotiating with Bainbridge to find out a way to make it happen. And so, you know, it's not short term.
It's true, because Bainbridge likes the revenue stream they get from the businesses, and it doesn't bother them that our residents have to be inconvenienced with all the traffic to and from their homes. So they don't have the incentive we do to make this change, but I think the city is right in trying to force the study and try to get them to take action and really do it in the real spirit of regionalization and joint development.
Okay. Let's move a little further down 91 with traffic issues. Twinsburg is about to put in some roundabouts down there. There's a new traffic light at Lisa Lane. There's a lot of concern that that's going to just bog everything down at that end of the city. Ms. Jacobs, what's your thoughts on that?
Actually, I think long-term, I'm excited that it's going to be a step. Twinsburg took a little long to get to the table. It's not the long-term solution. It's just two roundabouts on the front end, closest to Solon on the south side. They need to do a lot more in terms of widening the roads all the way down that stream. But I do believe that that's a step in the right direction for appeasing things. But I believe that one step back from that, it's the traffic study, the traffic light project that they're almost done with in the city in terms of doing all the fiber optics. Those next 6 or 8 weeks, we're going to be able to figure out how much more do we really need in terms of how much will the lighting of the new structure and the computerized maximizing the turns and right and left, how much has that helped? And if that doesn't help, what else should we do? I think we need to consider our left and right turn lanes more off of Pettibone to 91 north and south. That's more disruptive for our ward residents. So I think we need to look at all those things with engineering once we get past doing piece by piece the 9 million that Twinsburg's doing.
Well, I know Twinsburg's having fun with this. I was really surprised at the intersection they put in place at Richmond Road and Pettibone, when they put a roundabout there. I was really surprised at that. It really worked pretty well, surprisingly. But now if they're going to do another one just south of Lisa Lane there, it'd be kind of interesting to hear what our mayor has to say about that, because I know she fought hard for that light at Lisa Lane. But you know, Twinsburg's got to step up to the plate. I think Sue's right on that one. They've got to widen traffic down there. There's not a lot of other things our traffic engineers are working on right now other than this traffic light study, which will be done at the end of November. But it could create a problem, and we're going to have to negotiate with Twinsburg. But that's one of the key traffic problems that we will be faced. 91 just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Any other thoughts before we move on?
Infrastructure-wise, we're talking just roads in 91. I think the fact that they were able to get grant money for next summer to do everything north of the freeway up to the north line, and then work that they're trying to do, putting in applications for, I believe, a loan approach for the Richmond Road work as well. You know, you've got to give kudos to the planning department for trying to do so much to work on infrastructure. And if you look at the old city survey from 2012, that was one of the hot buttons for Solon residents since 2001, and then again in 2012. It's infrastructure, so we have to keep investing because the number of cars is not going down.
No, it's an interesting problem we faced. Actually, that ODOT grant for 91 repairs north is a significant project. That's going to tie up things for a little while as well. So we just have to keep residents apprised of the fact that most of that money is coming from that. It's a higher percentage than it normally is, which is pretty interesting that we were able to do that. So there's a lot going on relative to traffic.